what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 7 of Know the Game here on Sideline Sports. And if you're watching along on YouTube, as you can tell, this is the first episode that me and Gavin are doing in person. We live really close to each other, just we haven't done one in person that has been released. We did a long time ago. We did the first ever episode, never got released. We did it in person. But this is our first episode in person. So, Gavin, are you excited to do this?
I am so super excited to do this. But, however, this is at none of our houses. This is at our grandma's house. So, shout out to her for letting us use her house to record today's episode of Know the Game. But hopefully, in the future, we can do more in-person episodes.
Yeah, we hope to do... we do 2 episodes a week, so either both episodes or just one in person, whether it's at my house, his house, here. We want to do one in person, so if you're watching on YouTube, you notice something different. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, obviously it just sounds the same. But anyways, let's get just straight into this episode. Today we're going to be going over the first NBA trade of the offseason, pretty much, between the Grizzlies and Pelicans, as well as NBA draft rumors. The Thunder are trying to trade up to number 1, along with the Houston Rockets, to get Cade Cunningham. Also talk about Derrick Rose possibly returning to the Bulls and Brandon Ingram going to South Beach, as well as Team USA in the Olympics and their very disappointing start to the Olympic run. Moving over to the MLB, we'll go over the second big trade of the MLB Trade Deadline between the Padres and Pirates, as well as some more trade rumors. And we'll take a look at the MLB wildcard standings, as the wildcard races, specifically in the American League, are actually really, really close and could change very soon, like in a matter of days. And then we'll go over and we'll rank our Nike City Connect jerseys. There's still one more that has to be released, and that's the Dodgers. However, we just decided, let's just rank them what we have right now. And then we'll end it off with the NFL as usual. Aaron Rodgers is back in Green Bay for what seems like one final season, as well as Deshaun Watson back in the trade rumors and in the spotlight again. An NFL star on defense, very underrated player, requested a trade this offseason. And finally, the Cleveland Browns releasing 1946 throwbacks. So with the introduction out of the way, Gavin, let's get straight into the NBA talk.
Yeah, the first, I'd say, major trade of this offseason was by the Pelicans and Grizzlies, and that was Jonas Valanciunas being traded to the Pelicans, and the number 17 overall pick and the number 51 overall pick for Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, number 10 overall pick, and number 40, and a projected 2022 first-round picks via the Lakers. That is a pretty big trade. So Connor, who do you think who do you say won this trade?
Well, each team did this trade for different reasons. The Pelicans traded away 2 guys in Adams and Bledsoe who are on big contracts, so they get off the books early with Valanciunas. And then the Grizzlies, obviously they get 2 good NBA players. I'm gonna pick the Pelicans won this trade, in my opinion. I think Valanciunas, on 1 year left on his contract after this season, is a really, really good move. And then also, they move back in the draft and they acquire cap space not only for this summer but next summer.
I'm gonna have to defer with you. I think the Grizzlies won this trade. They got some veteran help. They got Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe. They also got 3 picks, a first-round pick, second-round pick, and also a pick in 2022 via the Lakers. That right there is going to be huge for the Pelicans, or for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Bledsoe, he put up 12.2 points last season, points per game last season. He played all but 1 game for the Pelicans. And he wasn't a good fit with New Orleans last season, but he's still a really good defender, and I think will really help what the Grizzlies are trying to do. Same thing with Steven Adams. He is, slightly overpaid, but he's a good rebounder and a pretty decent defender, so he should be able to help the Grizzlies out this upcoming season. And they also get the 10th pick in the draft, and they're really really good at drafting talent.
Next up, we have the Thunder, which is I thought this was very surprising to hear about this. They were trying to trade the number 6 pick in the draft and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Wow.
For Pistons' number 1 pick. Obviously, that means they're trying to acquire Cade Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, that's just crazy. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the number 6 pick in the draft is really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the Thunder's best player and also one of the best young players in the league. And then the Thunder have, they have like 28 draft picks in the next like 7 or 8 years. So, the Pistons having the number 1 overall pick and basically probably going to take Cade Cunningham, who's the number 1 best player in this draft. Every team wants him. The Pistons, first of all, if they didn't want to accept that offer, that's kind of crazy. I wouldn't say it's crazy because Cade Cunningham could definitely be better than Shai. But you could always be like, give me a few more first-round picks since you got like 28, 29, 30 first-round picks in the next 7 or 8 seasons.
I mean, yeah, the Thunder, they really do have, they have a lot of picks. They are drafting or trading for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I don't really see that, happening. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably the best young player in the league, and they acquired him from the Clippers. I mean, him and the number 6 pick for Cade Cunningham is pretty much a crazy move, if you ask me. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, like the Thunder are trying to rebuild their team, and like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if you trade him away, you're just gonna have Cade Cunningham as your focal point of the rebuild when you could have Cade and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and whoever they take at 6, and with the other first-round picks they have in this draft. Trading Shai away to get Cade might be smart, but it might also like hurt what they're trying to do.
Well, you said that the Rockets were also trying to look for the first-round pick.
Yeah, reports that I saw were that the Rockets are heavily trying to acquire the first overall pick. They hold the 2nd pick, so they are 1 pick behind. A lot of mock drafts, including the one that we posted on Sideline Sports Instagram, go follow that, had Jalen Green from the NBA G League going to the Rockets. However, everybody wants Cade Cunningham. He's the number 1 player in the draft. Every mock draft has him going number 1, and he's going to be a star in this league. So it makes sense that teams are trying to basically throw the bag at the Pistons to get Cade Cunningham and see if they budge.
Well, I mean, the Rockets, they're going to need that new big star after trading away James Harden before the trade deadline last year. And the Houston fans are looking for new hope in that city and that team. But hopefully, we could see them drafting either Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green. But next up, we have a player that might go back to their former team, and that is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose went back to the Knicks after being traded there. He put up 14 points a game last season with the Knicks. He might go back to the Bulls. The Bulls are like heavily pushing Derrick Rose in this offseason, and Derrick Rose is the youngest player to ever win MVP, and he won that MVP with the Bulls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, dude, Derrick Rose returning to the Bulls, I hope it happens some point in his career because, he's from Chicago, got drafted by his hometown team, and was great early on in his career there. So I definitely think a reunion needs to happen. But, this kind of makes sense too. Like, the Bulls are looking to add a point guard. Rumors were like Alonzo Ball and guys like that. But Derrick Rose, a veteran player that you could add to your team. Been to a bunch of playoff runs as of late. And the Bulls, they're in a weird spot. They need to really get it together and make the playoffs. And I think Derrick Rose, on that team, he won't be the player he used to be. There's no way. I mean, it'd be great to see that, but he could definitely be a really, really solid get for the Bulls.
I mean, Derrick Rose, he was on the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Knicks twice,
The Cavs.
the Cavs. I mean, I don't know what that team is, but
Pistons.
the Pistons. He was on the Pistons.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose. I mean, that duo would be pretty nice with him and Zach LaVine, and maybe even Nikola Vucevic, because they acquired him the trade deadline last season. The Bulls are looking to make that push for the playoffs. Hopefully, if they acquire Derrick Rose, everybody wants to see Derrick Rose holding that Larry O'Brien trophy. I mean, if you're an NBA fan and you hate Derrick Rose,
you're not an NBA fan.
You're not an NBA fan.
You're not.
But next we have Brandon Ingram, former Laker and now a Pelican, looking to he's open to be traded, and he said he'd want to be traded to the Miami Heat. Now Brandon Ingram had an outstanding year last year with 23 points a game, or basically 24 points a game. I mean, he was amazing. He was a really young player coming out of Duke, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he got drafted number 2 overall by the Lakers, and then got traded in that Anthony Davis deal with Lonzo Ball and Josh Hart. And he got traded to the Pelicans. Has been outstanding with the Pelicans, and the Miami Heat would be a pretty interesting team for him to go to.
Yeah, the Miami Heat just 2 seasons ago made the finals in the bubble against the Lakers. And last season, they really struggled throughout the year. I think in part that has to do with the fact that they really benefited from the bubble. They made it to the finals because they were in Orlando and they were just the best team, besides the Lakers, that played in the bubble. And they have Jimmy Butler, they have Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and guys like that. But they could really use a young player that can score the ball like Brandon Ingram. 23.8 points per game last season, on 87% from the field 87% from free throw and 46% from the field. He's a really, really good scorer. Mid-range game is very good for Brandon Ingram, and I think the Heat should definitely try and pursue him. It'd be interesting to see what the Pelicans ask, though.
The
Heat. Well, no, what would the Heat ask to trade Brandon Ingram?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it'd be interesting where they put him, because you have Jimmy Butler as a small forward and Brandon Ingram as a small forward. I'd be interested if Jimmy Butler goes back to a shooting guard, where he played as a Chicago Bull. Brandon Ingram is really, lengthy, he doesn't have a lot of meat in him. He needs to build up that. He needs to
Slender man.
Yeah, I know. He possibly can play some power forward, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty interesting where they'd want to put him.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move over to the Olympic side, and Team USA has been the biggest. Team USA basketball team has been the biggest disappointment in the history of USA basketball teams. It's crazy. I'm pretty sure they won 2 games in some all their 5 exhibition and actual games and together.
Yeah.
They lost their first real game against what was it?
France.
Yeah, France. They lost their first game against France. Evan Fournier, Damian Lillard said that every single player in the bubble, or not bubble, every single player that plays for their world team acts different. They don't play that way when they're playing in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, it really shows. Evan Fournier was amazing for France against Team USA. And even guys like Patty Mills. Patty Mills is really good at basketball when he's playing for Team Australia. But when it comes to Team USA, I'm just so disappointed in them. You have Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, NBA champions in Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday.
Jason Tatum,
Bam Adebayo,
Devin Booker,
JaVale McGee.
Keldon Johnson.
They have guys that you expect to be able to win games. And I don't know if it's the coaching. There's been some people that say that Greg Popovich is not the right coach for Team USA. I know it used to be Coach K from Duke in the past. People are also saying that, they don't have a true leader. They have a bunch of really, really good players who can lead teams, but they don't have that one leader guy. They just need to get it together, because right now, Team USA in general in the Olympics is not winning a lot of gold medals. They're getting silvers, which is good, and bronzes. I don't think we've gotten any bronzes yet, but silvers for sure. But we want the gold medals, and especially in basketball with that star power we have.
I mean, a lot of players on the team and are saying that they're not happy with the way Greg Popovich is running their offense. Because he's running the Spurs offense, and people aren't the players on the team aren't really liking it. They need a real leader. Possibly like Damian Lillard could be a real leader for that team, or even KD. They have so much star power, but they just can't they just can't win games, which is crazy if you look at the team.
Yeah, that star power should be destroying teams, no matter who it is. Like, even if you have the best international players in the game, they have Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard and all the star power in the world. They should be destroying teams in the Olympics right now.
I mean, it sucks, that you can't get like Giannis. Oh, Giannis can't even play, but it sucks that you can't have LeBron or like Curry.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, you have KD, Jason Tatum, Lillard, and whoever else. Devin Booker. You have all those guys, but you still can't win games. I mean, Draymond Green, are you kidding me? That's like one of the best players in basketball.
Yeah, he should be a guy that should step up and be a leader. He's a leader on the Warriors team, and they need, I don't know, maybe he is stepping up and being a leader behind the scenes, but it's not translating to wins on court just yet.
We're going to move over to the MLB side of the podcast in today's episode of the game. But we have, like, I'd say second or third big trade.
Yeah.
This man was an all-star. Adam Frazier got traded to the Padres. And it was pretty crazy. I mean, I don't really know how to pronounce this dude's name. Yeah, traded to the Padres and cash for a shortstop to Capita Marcano, and outfielder Jake Suwinski, and right-handed pitcher Mitchell Milano. Why do these guys have to have like some weirdest names?
Dude, seriously.
But Adam Frazier has had a terrific season. He's batting .324, which is outstanding. With 32 RBIs. He gets on base. I wouldn't say exceeding rate because he has a above 300 average. But he gets on base by an average rate of 388. I mean, Adam Frazier, like I said, he was an all-star. He's one of the best like base hitters in the league right now. I mean, that would be a great addition for the Padres. But who do you think he's going to be playing? He's a second baseman and an outfielder. You have Jake Cronenworth, Crone Zone man.
I should have done it. Dang it.
Yeah, Tatis and Machado. So where would you put Adam Frazier for the Padres?
Yeah, this is interesting. I just pulled up their roster, and they have a lot of guys that can play so many positions. Obviously the staples guys are going to play short and third, Machado and Tatis. If they need off days, they'll put guys there, right? But they have Jake Cronenworth who can play first base as well. Reports are they're trying to move Eric Hosmer and his big old contract, but even if they don't move him, they still have him. They have, obviously, they just acquired the MLB leader in hits, Adam Frazier, all-star, Hyesung Kim, and then they even have guys like Jurickson Profar, who's naturally an infielder playing the outfield. They just have so much depth, which is a really good problem to have. I'd see him playing second base and maybe some outfield. He's played that in Pittsburgh, but the Padres can really play them anywhere. And one thing I want to say is that, when this trade happened, a lot of people were saying that this trade might not be as good as it seems because Adam Frazier is just a contact and get on base guy. But I argue that is really valuable. The game today might not be the game it was back when getting on base and getting base hits was so valuable. The game today is really home run, strikeout, walk. That's like all baseball is. But in my opinion, I still think baseball, the best way it's played is guys that get on base. and Adam Frazier does that. A 388 on base percentage and the league leader in hits. If they play him 1 or 2 in that batting lineup, and then they have Machado, Tatis, Trent Grisham, Jake Cronenworth. They have so many guys that can drive in those runs. Adam Frazier is going to be really, really valuable to this Padres team.
Yeah, I mean, if Adam Frazier can, get on base and you put like a power hitting person like right behind him in the batting order, that's like a 2-run bomb right there. He's on base and then the next guy hits a home run, and then you could be up or he can cut the deficit. I mean, that's Adam Frazier gets on base, super good. He leads the league in hits. I mean, he's super good at hitting the baseball.
Yeah.
But now, since the trade deadline is 4 days away, me and Connor are going to be talking about.
It's actually 3 days away. It's on the 30th this year, not the 31st. But yeah, it's like really close.
Well, yeah, we're going to be talking about the rumors, and there's some pretty interesting ones. First rumor, we're going to talk about Jose Berrios. He has been basically, I'd say, the face of trade talks for like a couple weeks now. He's been, I think he's a 2-time All-Star. I mean, Jose Berrios is a pretty young pitcher. He's for the Twins. A lot of teams are looking to pursue him, like the Dodgers and the Padres that just got Adam Frazier. It's mainly the Twins have mainly cut it down to the Padres and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are a team that are down like 3 starting pitchers right now, with Clayton Kershaw gone until like August, which is a couple days. Trevor Bauer gone probably for the whole season.
Yeah.
And Dustin May out for the whole season with Tommy John. I mean, Jose Berrios could be a very good addition for the Dodgers because they need that starting rotation help. They have too many bullpen games. You got guys like David Price and Tony Gonsolin that can be a starting pitcher for the season. Jose Berrios has a 3.48 ERA, which isn't terrible for a pitcher at all. He has 126 strikeouts. It's a pretty good amount of strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like Shane Bieber and Garrett Cole having 160, but that's still a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, he has 2 more years left on his contract. He signed through 2021, then he's arbitration eligible. He won't be a free agent until 2023. So it's going to be a lot of value to give up. The Twins think very highly of Jose Berrios, and he's under contract, so they can ask for a good haul for him. And, the Dodgers, they're trying to make a World Series run. They're going to make the playoffs, but you need starting pitching depth in the postseason. And, they have Kershaw and Buehler, but Bauer would have helped if they had, and Dustin May. And they're missing those guys, so Berrios would be nice. I wonder what prospects, the Dodgers would be willing to give up in a trade for Jose Berrios, just due to
like a Michael Bush or Cody Hosey. I honestly don't see that happening. They also called up Josiah Gray, so that's like another starting pitcher that they could have. I mean, Jose Berrios could be a really good addition, but it'd be interesting what the Dodgers are willing to give up for Jose Berrios.
Yeah, they're not going to give up any of their top guys and like Keeper Ruiz or Gray or Bush or even Hosey, maybe even Bobby Miller, a right-handed pitcher. You have to look further down the list, and maybe they give up. It depends on how much value the Twins and the Dodgers have these guys as. But maybe like a Clayton Beeter or Luis Rodriguez, guys in the middle of the rankings, maybe even a Andy Pages. Depends on how much value obviously the Twins have on these guys, and maybe the Twins even ask for like an MLB ready guy. I don't know if the Dodgers will do that. But Jose Berrios is definitely one of the hottest names on the pitching side of this trade market.
Another hot name on this pitching side is Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer, probably the greatest pitcher of this generation. I mean, he's super good this season. He was a starting pitcher in the All-Star game. He has a 2.83 ERA. It's funny that, so they're saying that no matter what the Mets offer for Max Scherzer, they're not going to give him to the Mets. It's
Wow.
pretty crazy. And Max Scherzer also went out and said he wants to play for a winning team that is in the West Coast. That basically means probably the Padres or the Dodgers. The Dodgers, we already talked about Jose Berrios going to the Dodgers. They need that pitching. They need that sort of pitching help. Padres just acquired Adam Frazier. They have so much depth in the fielding and batting category. They are going to need some depth in that starting rotation or even bullpen because they have so many starting pitchers, it feels like. It'd be interesting because he wants to go to the West Coast team that is winning. Is it the Dodgers or the Padres?
You know, either of those two teams, maybe even the Giants, too. That could be a possibility. You know, Max Scherzer, he's just really, really good. He's in the 94th percentile in strikeouts. That's really high. Also 95th percentile in whiff percentage. So the advanced analytics show how great he is, but you don't even need to use those. You know, this season a 2.83 ERA, like you said, multiple 3-time Cy Young Award winner. But you know, the Dodgers, we mentioned with Berrios, they need pitching help. They need more guys that can just eat innings, and it doesn't necessarily have to be one of the top names on the pitching market, but it doesn't hurt to add a Max Scherzer. He's done it all in his career and could really help the Dodgers on a World Series push. And then the Padres, you know, guys like Chris Paddock have been very inconsistent, and Dinelson Lamet has been injured pretty much every time he comes back to pitch. He gets injured again. And then Blake Snell has just been very bad this season. So their best pitchers are Darvish and Musgrove. Adding Scherzer would be great. And then even the Giants, you know, the Giants may not be in rumors for Max Scherzer, but I think it wouldn't hurt to add him. You know, they have Kevin Gausman and Johnny Cueto and Anthony DeSclafani. They have a lot of great good pitchers this season. Max Scherzer could be that number one in a playoff game for them.
I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting. It's either the Giants, who are the best team in baseball right now, the Padres, or the Giants. Basically the three best teams in baseball. Next up, the Marlins. I was talking to Connor about this. The Marlins are looking to trade outfielders like Ketel Marte and Adam Duvall.
Starling Marte. You said Ketel.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah.
Starling
Pretty
Marte. They have the same last name. They're like brothers. Starling Marte and Adam Duvall, and some bullpen pitchers. So like a lot of players on their team coming up this deadline.
I mean, I really think the guy that's going to definitely get moved is Starling Marte. He's on the last year of his deal. He declined extension from the Marlins, and it just makes sense for him to get traded. You know, the Marlins aren't competing this year, and they probably won't compete next year. So it makes sense for them to capitalize on his value. The Yankees, the Phillies, even the Astros could definitely go after him.
I've seen some Red Sox talks.
Red Sox, and whatever team needs an outfielder, Starling Marte could go there. He's a great bag stealer and gets on base and hits the ball. And then Adam Duvall, if you need a power bat and you want to maybe platoon him in the outfield, or you need a DH you're in the American League, Adam Duvall's that guy. Perfect fit on so many teams. And the Marlins, you know, they have a good amount of relievers that they can move, and I'm interested to see how many guys they move because they're going to trade.
You know, Adam Duvall was picked up this offseason by the Marlins. Formerly was on the Braves. You know, he can play the outfield. Super good. He's such a powerful hitter. You can play him in the outfield. You can play him at third base too. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. Even Starling Marte, you know, he's just really fast. He gets on base really and I can see him right, you know. And it'd be interesting to see where these guys go. And maybe even some bullpen arms too. Like the starting rotation for the Marlins is going to be disgustingly great for the next 2 to 4 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got guys like Trevor Rodgers, who's been tearing it up this season. Like guys like Ciso Sanchez,
Edward Cabrera,
Sandy Alcantara. I mean, all these guys are going to be, or Pablo Lopez, like all these guys are going to be so good for years to come. But the last rumor is Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson was an all-star this year. He's been one of the breakout players this year, most surprising players this year for the Rangers. He has a 2.87 ERA. I've seen some talks about him going to the Rays. The Rays just acquired Nelson Cruz and also traded away another starting pitcher in Rich Hill to the Mets. The Rays, it'd be interesting to see if he does go to the Rays because they just traded away Rich Hill, so that's like one less starting arm that they have. So, do you think he'd go to the Rays?
I don't know. I mean, I think, we mentioned them before. I won't go in depth. The Dodgers possibly. Well, I think the Rays, they traded away a pitcher, and Glasnow is out for a pretty long time with an elbow injury. I think the Rays should definitely go after Kyle Gibson. He has one of the lowest ERAs in the American League. Only 94 strikeouts. He's not a strikeout pitcher. Ground ball guy, fly ball guy. He could just be really useful for the Rays pitching staff who, the Rays most likely are going to make the playoffs, probably as a wild card team, and maybe in the division winners. And they need another arm. Trading Rich Hill, losing Glasnow, trading Snell last season, losing Charlie Morton. It just makes sense for them to add an arm at the deadline.
Yeah, and speaking of wild card, the Rays are at the top of that wild card list, and me and Carter they're going over the American League wild card standings, and this is pretty interesting. The Rays are in first, and then the A's are in second. So those are the two wild card teams set for right now. They can change any minute. The Mariners, the Yankees, Blue Jays, Cleveland Guardians, just kidding, the Indians, and the Angels. Pretty surprising name right there. The Angels. All those teams are in the wild card hunt for the postseason.
I'm really surprised that the Mariners, they're only one game back of the wild card spot from the A's. And the American League West is about to get really interesting because the Oakland A's are playing the Padres for the next 3 days. If they get swept by the Padres, they're going to drop down in the wild card standings. If the Mariners win some games, they're second in the wild card. And the Angels are playing the Colorado Rockies. They won the first game on Monday night. If they continue to if they sweep the Rockies and then they play Oakland the next day, the Angels could possibly be one of the top wildcard teams. If the Yankees keep losing and the Blue Jays, their pitching's inconsistent, and the Indians for some reason are here, even though they aren't good and not going to make the playoffs. So there's 4 AL West teams that could be in the hunt, for the wild card spot, and it's crazy how close it is compared to the National League.
Yeah, the Yankees were the most surprisingly bad team this season, and now they're only 3.5 games back from the wild card game. I mean, the Yankees at the start of the season, as it is every single season, everybody's saying the Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Obviously, it must have been not going to happen. The Yankees were so terrible at the start of the season, and they kind of picked it up recently. Now they're 3.5 games back from the wild card race.
Yeah.
So next, me and Connor are going to go over our Nike City Connect jerseys, or rank our Nike City Connect jerseys because there's only been 6, and the 7th one I think is the last one, and that is the Dodgers coming out in August. I don't know when, but me and Connor are going to rank them. So it's the Red Sox, the Giants, the White Sox, the Cubs, the Marlins, and the Diamondbacks. They all got that's all 6. So, Connor, I'll just start off with the 6.
My number 6, I won't say this is, it is the worst. It's number 6. I have the Red Sox. It doesn't look like a Red Sox jersey. I know none of these really look like a team's jersey, but it's yellow and it's got the UCLA hat, pretty much. So I'm just not a fan of it. That's my number 6.
My number 6, I think it's the newest one, is the Giants. The Giants, it just doesn't look great at all. It's all white, and then the orange tee that fades into white that matches the color of the jersey. It looks pretty disgusting.
My number 5, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. My big problem with this jersey is their pants. I wish their pants were the same color, that desert sand color, and also the red number really reminds me of the Dodgers. So that's why it's my number 5.
My number 5 is the Red Sox. I mean, it was the first one to come out. It looked good like when it came out, but like now that you look at it now compared to all the other ones, it just doesn't look great. I mean, the yellow and the red, or the yellow and the blue, those aren't Red Sox colors.
No. My number 4 is the Chicago Cubs. They have the all navy blue with the baby blue script everywhere. You know, a lot of people hated this one. I actually kind of like it. You know, it's my mid-tier one in a sense. Wrigley Field across it. It's interesting. It's just kind of like an average jersey, in my opinion.
My number 4 is the Diamondbacks. I mean, this desert sand color. The jersey, it's nice, but like, I don't know, it's not worthy enough to be in my top 3.
Yeah, they also suck too, so it kind of
makes the jerseys terrible.
Yeah, my number 3, I have the Giants. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting concept. There's a few things I don't like about it. I wish the G said SF, you know, like their hat. However, the white doesn't look bad. The orange really pops. And I think it's kind of cool what they do with like the fading numbers and letters. So that's why I have it at 3.
My number 3 is the Chicago Cubs. When it came out, I was a really big fan of it. I like how it says like Wrigley Field. You know, it's really nice. The navy and then the teal. I mean, those aren't really Cubs colors, I'd say.
No, not really.
But it just looks really good.
Yeah. Number 2, I had a tough one with my top 2. I ultimately chose the Miami Marlins and their basically Sugar Kings jerseys. I really, dude, when these ones came out, before my number 1 came out, these were the best ones by far. You know, just the red and the pinstripes and the teal blue. They took that third color of theirs on their logo and made it the whole jersey. I really love these jerseys.
My number 2 is the Chicago White Sox, another Chicago team. The White Sox, the top 2 were really tough in my opinion. I mean, the all black and the white pinstripes that say South Side and like graffiti art. It's kind of like a Los Angeles Clippers jersey, like how they would make their jerseys. The top 2 between the Marlins and the White Sox were really hard, but ultimately it just shows the White Sox to be number 2.
And that leaves my number 1 with the Chicago White Sox. I mean, it is just amazing. It's like a perfect jersey, you know, the black with the pinstripes, black pants too, and the hat is super sick. It says CHI on it, Southside on it. You know, Tony La Russa in that uniform looks so sick. We'll put a picture up. It looks amazing. It's just, you know, the top 2 are amazing, but this is my favorite one.
My favorite one is the Miami Marlins. I mean, the red on that jersey is just it's beautiful, man. And Jazz Chisholm looks so good in that jersey. I mean, he also wore yellow gloves to honor Ronald Acuna Jr. after the ACL tear. And honestly, the yellow looks pretty good too with that jersey. So like, you could basically put any color with that jersey and it would look nice. Next up, we got the NFL. Very interesting news. I mean, didn't think this was gonna happen after what he was saying about this team. Aaron Rodgers is looking to they got him for at least one more season. The Packers re-signed Aaron Rodgers for at least one more season. Aaron Rodgers, probably the best Packer quarterback of all time. I mean, He is goated, reigning MVP right now. 4,000 yard passer, basically 300 yard passer, but was just 1 yard short. 48 touchdowns, which is really good. You know, he was the MVP. Like I just said, he was the MVP. And to have Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, back for at least one more season is a great sign for the Packers.
Yeah, obviously, you know, the past 2 seasons have made the NFC Championship game. Obviously came short both years, but they are probably the second best team in the NFC with Aaron Rodgers. And without him, Jordan Love or Blake Bortles as your starting quarterback. You know, Blake Bortles taking a team to the AFC Championship game. He didn't do that, though. He was just on the team. It was that defense. But, you know, Jordan Love's an unknown. and he'll be the quarterback next season, most likely, unless Aaron Rodgers wins a Super Bowl, which would be very interesting to see if he still wants out. He got a new contract. Basically, it's all the years after this season don't exist anymore, and he's going to get paid the same amount of money he would this season. He'll get paid it this year, but after the season, he's going to have a Tom Brady-like contract where the Packers can look to trade him and do right with him and end on a positive note in a sense. But obviously, a big get for the Packers because it's an unknown what the team would have been without him.
It's going to be pretty interesting seeing Aaron Rodgers back at camp or back at games with the players because they don't like him for what he's been saying about the Packers this offseason. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, he actually came into training camp today wearing a very sick fit, wearing Pit Vipers and an Office Kevin and Chili shirt. Aaron Rodgers is a savage and doesn't give a single heck about anything.
Next up is Deshaun Watson. The Texans are open to trade talks for Deshaun Watson, and they're looking to get 5 draft picks for Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun Watson was a 4,800-yard passer last year, which is amazing. 33 touchdowns. I mean, if you got 4,800 passing yards on probably the worst team in football, you are a good quarterback.
Yeah, the Texans, horrible last season. Obviously, they traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals, and they got pretty much nothing. I mean, they got a second-round pick and David Johnson. So that's really all you need to hear about that trade. They went 4-12 last season. Defense horrible. Obviously, Deshaun Watson was leading the league in passing yards last season. But there's a lot of things that happened within this offseason. He obviously requested a trade earlier in the offseason. Then after he requested trade, it goes all downhill. Nearly 28 women filed police reports, sexual assault allegations against him. And just yesterday, 2 women with new allegations among 10 to file police complaints against Deshaun Watson. So you can see why the Texans want to move on from him. 1, he doesn't want to be there. So if he doesn't want to be there, it's just going to be a problem. And 2, off the field these are not just any off the field distractions. These are serious legal things that whether they are true or not, you don't want around your team. So he'll be traded, after these allegations are resolved. Whether he's innocent, a team will jump on him. If he's guilty, obviously that'll be the end of his NFL career. But 5 draft picks is a lot of picks for any player. But I guess it's fair for one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
I mean, 5 draft picks. It doesn't even matter if it's well, I wish I said something weird. But 5 draft picks is a lot if it's first through 5 rounds. I mean, even 5 first-round picks, which team's not gonna trade.
That would never happen.
But Deshaun Watson is probably he is a great passer. That's why he's a quarterback, and he also he knows how to run the football too. I mean, it's kind of like a Lamar Jackson thing. Coming out of Clemson, he was probably the best quarterback in the draft class, but then obviously not anymore because it's Patrick Mahomes. But Deshaun Watson, if he gets traded to a team, who do you think what team do you think he'd be traded to?
I mean, this next off season is gonna be interesting. Whether Watson gets traded before the season starts this year in the off season, it's gonna depend on also Aaron Rodgers. Teams that should definitely go after Watson. The Dolphins, if Tua doesn't have a good season. I would say the Eagles, if Jalen Hurts doesn't have a good season. The Broncos, if Drew Lock doesn't have a good season. The Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins is good, but Watson would be a major upgrade. Trying to think of teams. The Panthers, if Sam Darnold doesn't perform well. There's a lot of teams. The Raiders, Derek Carr's really good, especially under John Gruden and the Raiders now. But Watson would be a major upgrade.
I mean, it's gonna be a treat to see what would happen to Deshaun Watson if all these allegations are fake. But if they're real, I mean, obviously he's probably never gonna play again.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about a player on the Cardinals that requested a trade earlier this off season, but now I guess he doesn't want to get out of Arizona anymore, and that is Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is probably the best player on this Arizona Cardinals defense before acquiring J.J. Watt. But he had 1 sack last season, but only played 5 games. I mean, he didn't play the whole season last year. He wanted a trade, but obviously he doesn't want it anymore. Probably because he probably requested a trade before they acquired J.J. Watt, and then when they got J.J. Watt, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna stay on this team.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he still wants to be traded. Obviously bringing in a guy who's never played for your team before, and he gets $30 million might not sit right with a dude that's been on the team not his entire career, but since 2016. Might not sit right with him. However, Chandler Jones has been among the league leaders in sacks the past 4 seasons, except for last season, obviously. 19 in 2019, 13 in 2018, league leading 17 sacks in 2017, as well as 28 tackles for losses. He's a really, really good linebacker, can play the edge too, really good defensive player, and the Cardinals, in a tough NFC West with a good roster, they're going to want to keep Chandler Jones on that defense, to stop these offenses and make that defense just keep it really, really good.
Even if Chandler Jones still, wants to get out of there, if he's making it very clear that he doesn't want to play for the Cardinals, what would they get out of him? He's an aging player, yeah, but he's still good, very good pass rusher. It'd be interesting to see if the Cardinals trade him, or Chandler Jones wants to get traded. What would they get out of Chandler Jones? I mean, it's really interesting.
It wouldn't be much because, he's coming off of an injury too, and he's in his mid-30s. So overall, you're not going to get as much value as you would if you waited and see if he had a good season, and then we're like, okay, I guess we'll trade you.
Yeah, but next thing is basically our last thing, and that is another jersey thing. The Browns, a couple days ago, released their 1946 throwback uniforms, and I mean they are pretty clean. A lot of teams are releasing the throwback uniforms from the 1900s. I mean the 49ers were the first one to do it, and those ones are clean. The Rams did their modern look that didn't look like throwbacks at all. The Colts recently did theirs, didn't change anything but the socks. So this is really the second actual throwback jersey.
I really, really like these jerseys. I don't remember if when we brought them up that you liked them or not. I really like them. I think they're so sick with the 3D number font, as well as it's just a really, really clean throwback jersey. The number on the helmet is a nice touch. I just thought of something that we could do. We could do it right now if you want. Obviously we pause it, but we could rank the NFL jerseys to come out this offseason. All of the new ones to come out this offseason.
There's only been 4.
Bengals released new jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
Rams, Colts, Niners, Browns. I mean, we can just do it off the top of our head. I'll start. My number 5 is the...
Well, you gotta... So, me and Connor are me ranking the new jerseys to be coming out this off season, and I'll start it off right now. So my number 5 is gonna be the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, honestly, they're not even throwback jerseys.
No.
They're just they look like just alternate jerseys or whatever. I mean, they're the same. They said they're throwback modern looks, which makes no sense at all. if you're gonna make them a throwback, then make them a throwback, not a modern look.
For number 5 for me, I'm actually gonna put the new Cincinnati Bengals uniforms. You know, it's definitely an upgrade from what they had for pretty much a very long time. The thing for me is just they're kind of plain. You know, they have the tiger stripes on them. The all white combo looks super whack. Also, I don't like that the number is black on there. The black and black jersey white pants look super fuego, as well as the orange one. But I just think that they are overall there's better uniforms to release this offseason.
My number 4 is gonna be the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, no, there's another thing with the Rams. You know, they really didn't change anything from their jersey. The only thing they really changed was the socks. I mean, it's the same jersey. It's the same jersey other than the socks. Really, that's what it is.
Yeah. My number 4, I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams. I do think this uniform is better than the bone one they have. I think white belongs on football jerseys. However, it's a modern throwback, so it just doesn't look good. Also, their side shoulder thing and their number, it looks like this weird plastic material, and it just kind of looks really, really whack. I think it's their best jersey they have under this new set, but overall, it's just not good.
Wait, what are the other ones? Bengals, Browns, and what else?
We got 49ers.
So my number 3 is gonna be probably the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Cleveland Browns. Actually no. Yes, it's gonna be the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns just released theirs like a couple days ago. I think like yesterday or 2 days ago. I mean, honestly, if you ask me, they're pretty nice. I mean, they are really nice. I mean, you know, the number font is really good. I mean, you can't really put anything on the Browns helmet just because their logo is a brown or is the orange helmet, and that's what the helmet is. So they just put their number on it. It's a 1946 throwback, which it goes back a long time ago. So they're my number 3.
My number 3 is the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, this uniform looks just like their normal ones. The only things they changed, like Gavin said, was the socks and also the striping. The striping on their jerseys now goes vertical. It goes like this on the shoulder, and on the throwback it goes sideways, which looks way better than their ones now. Also, on the back of the helmet, they have the 2 Colts logos. That's cool, but you know, it's just it's a clean jersey. It's clean. It looks good. It's just super plain and just, you know, not as good as these other ones.
My number 2, I'm going to go with this Cincinnati Bengals. It's a major upgrade from their last jersey, because their last jersey, I don't think was pretty good.
Horrible.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you said, I don't think they're number 5, like, worthy. I don't know why you put them at number 5. But, I mean, Joe Burrow looks pretty nice in them. The orange and then the black, like the orange jersey and the black pants, it's probably the best combination of jerseys right there. Or combination. I mean, yeah, the black, the all white, and then the black number. They could do better than that. They could maybe pick an orange number, but they're my number 2.
One thing I think would be really sick. You know, the NFL show rule is coming out next season, so any team can use any number of helmets. For this all white jersey, imagine if they used the white tiger stripe helmet that people have been saying they should use for a long time. That would look sick. Number 2. I'm going to do the Cleveland Browns. You know, we obviously talked about it not too long ago. It's a really cool look. I like the 3D and the stripes. The Browns colors are really good in my opinion. You know, brown, not the best color. I mean, it's a good color. It depends how it's used. But brown and orange surprisingly go really good together. And these are some of the best Browns jerseys to be released in a long time.
You said breast. You said these are the breast Browns jerseys, dude. But my number 1 is gonna be the basically no, they weren't the first one because the Browns were, or the Bengals were, but like the second newest one, but they're like the first throwback ones, and that is the 49ers. I mean, these ones are the cleanest looking ones. They got Jerry Rice back there, posing in those pictures. Jimmy G looks great, and George Kittle looks even better in these jerseys. I mean, the red jersey, it's like a light red color, and then the white pants, it looks amazing.
Yeah, number one for me is also the 49ers. I really think that they should make obviously their white, I think it's their color rush throwback, and this red one, I think they should make those their primary uniforms instead of their home and away they wear now. And they're just really clean, 3D numbers. The red looks amazing. The white one's clean as well. 49ers have really great uniforms, except for their black ones, which suck. But yeah, this is my number one jersey to come out this off season.
I mean, me and Connor, you want to talk about everything we need to talk about. So I'll hand it over to Connor to the outro.
Yeah, that is all we have to talk about in this episode of Know the Game. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first not live episode, like live, but our first live episode together where we can touch each other, pause, and stuff. So, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Make sure you guys share the podcast and Sideline Sports with other people. Follow Sideline Sports on Instagram and also follow us on Instagram. Click the About page on YouTube to find that. And stay tuned for more Sideline Sports and Know the Game content. And we will see you guys next time on another episode of Know the Game.
So.